Hi and welcome to the next episode in my Citroen Relay van build series. In this video I am tackling the cabinet above the kitchen, so let's get into it right now. So in the previous video you'd have seen me building the cabinet here with the fridge in, and then moving sort of this way to the kitchen and the rest of the cabinets. We are coming into this area here, which is where the big main cabinet above the cooker is going to be. So what I've done in preparation is I have hang on, let me move the drill. Right, so what I've done in preparation for this is I have screwed a batten here onto the side of the van, the back one there, and again up at the top here, up under there, I've got a long batten that goes all the way across the width of the cupboard. And then I've prepared my two end panels. So there's this one here, which is scribed in round here. I spent a bit of time scribing that in. Not quite sure why really, because you're not going to see it, it'll be in the back of the cupboard, but still, you know, a bit of an OCD and all that. And that just got a curved edge around there. And I've done the other side, which at the moment is kind of you know, hanging in the fresh air, so to speak. But again, that's scribed in with the same shape around the front. And I've screwed these two pieces together with a batten at the top and a batten at the bottom here, just sort of fixed with a couple of temporary screws, just holding it in position, just to you know, get everything sort of lined up and happy with how it sits. I've just kind of used my eye really, to be honest, from this direction, just to make sure that the top and the bottom, the two fronts, are kind of level with each other, basically just by doing that really. And then I've adjusted it, and actually that's kind of worked out quite well, because what I've had to do is just put a little shim in between the two there, just to tease this out just a fraction, to make sure that lines up. And then what I'll do when I take this back off to finish off the build is I'll relocate that I think down in behind there, which will just tease that forward just a smidge, and the front is lining up okay. So the next job to do is going to be, if I just turn around over to this one, it's essentially going to look like this when it's finished. So there's an end panel, which is the bits I've just showed you. So we've got the aluminium piece for the front, and if I tuck underneath, we've got the board underneath and the doors. So that's what we're going to be building. So my next job, here's just a little scrap, is going to be to scribe that in so it sits underneath those battens there, which if I just move those out of the way, this is always awkward with one hand, and one hand on the camera. There we go. So I've measured that in such a way that that will sit underneath there, and then that is coming out pretty well in the right place. So I've got my piece of scrap wood here, and if I hold that underneath the batten there like so, then on that corner that is roughly the right height that we need, just so we've got a little lip at that end. So this will come all the way along here underneath like so, and then the aluminium piece on the front. And then on this corner, what I've done is I've shaped everything, cables are in the way, but I've shaped everything so that it just follows the line of the Dometic fly screen. So my idea is, just on this corner, I'm not going to put this all the way along, but just on this corner, a piece of this furniture board will just slide in there, look, to cover the back of the cupboard, like so, and then the fly screen will just run down the outside of it with about ½ a centimetre to play. So I'm not quite sure exactly what to do in what order there to you know, to make that look a nice tidy corner, but that's the theory anyway. That's the theory. So next job is to take this down and start building up the bottom and the structural bits for the doors and things. Now, I know on YouTube, if you watch all the YouTube videos on overhead cabinet builds, there's literally a million ways to do this, isn't there? People do it all kinds of in different manners. I'm going to follow the same approach that I took on that one, where the concept of less is more, so to speak, rather than having tons of wood up there. So my structural parts basically are going to be this wooden beam across the top, one at the back, which is what's going to fix it to the van, and then build the front piece in afterwards. Right, enough waffling, let's get on with it. Okay, so I got my piece out of the van again. What I'm doing just in preparation now is I've cut my T-trim slot in the two ends ready, and I'm just prepping up the bottom piece here. So this is upside down currently, so when that's turned over, there's the aluminium angle with the higher bit that the door catch will come onto. Got some pocket holes in ready to fix that in from the inside, and if I turn that over using the little mini trim router, I've cut out a channel here for my recessed LED lights. So this is the bit that I'm just putting in now. So let's prepare that. Got some very tiny diddly little screws here for that, and hopefully they'll not go all the way through. So what I'm going to do is just put the one on the end in first, just to test that, like so. Have a little feel underneath. Oh, that's just piercing, so I need to be very careful with that. That did pull down in very slightly. Yeah, I'm going to do those by hand, I think. Right, that's why we start with the one right on the very edge, not one in the middle, just in case it did break through, because then on the rest of them you can be careful. So what I'm going to do with that is get a little mini screwdriver, a PZ. Let me find the damn thing now. Actually, yes, we'll use that. Make sure we do actually use the proper thing for the job. That's the screwdriver with the magnetic end on. Let me get my PZ1 from here, PZ2, PZ3, PZ1. There he is. Pop him in there. And the rest of these I'm going to do by hand. To make sure it doesn't pull through too far. There. Okay, right, let me carry on along, and then we'll get the light in, and then that can be attached to the bottom of there. Okay, so I've got my aluminium trim screwed in, and I fitted my LED strip, and I've just soldered some wires onto the end of there, put a little bit of black insulation tape around the positive one so nothing shorts out. I've used this this tape for other things, which is why the wire wasn't already attached. That's already been used on another part of the van, so we've just added some cables to that. So now it's just a case of getting the plastic capping in. So what I tend to do is, because my join is this end, because I've had to use one and a bit pieces, then I put the big one this side, and then put the join the other end, so that the join is you know, is not in the same place on both parts, if that makes sense. Right, okay, it's a new day, and I have to be honest, I've been sort of cracking on with it, really. You know, sometimes you just kind of get in the flow, and then you forget you're supposed to be filming these things. So I'm pretty well done on it, but let me show you what I've done and how it's worked out anyway. So let me sort of come back here from a distance first of all. So there's the fridge cabinet, which we've covered previously, and there is my over kitchen cabinet. Let's take a closer look. Let's duck under the old scorver. Right, okay, so in the last part of this video, which was a couple of days ago now, I was doing the LED strip underneath here. As you can see, that's now part of the cabinet. And I've also put in the sort of middle brace, a piece up here, which is where the top of the doors come to, and the whole thing is now sort of in and fitted. And I've put my little end panel on here, which holds a power socket and the on-off controller for the Renogy inverter. So that's all plumbed and wired, and the reason why I've gone for a socket here is because on the top of the fridge unit here, there's a tambour door there. Just need to put the top cover on yet still, but you know, apart from that, the crux of it is there. So that's going to hold a kettle and a toaster and that sort of things in there, and for storage when we're traveling. And then when we are on a campsite or you know, out and about, whatever, we can pull the kettle and the toaster forward onto this little shelf, and then that can just simply plug in there. So that's nice and straightforward. Quite a few wires in the back of here, as you can see. And on the underneath here, what I've now got is there's my LED strip at the back there, and then I've also got a couple of little sort of disc lights here, which effectively will be sort of kitchen lights. So they're connected to this wire here, and there'll be a switch underneath here eventually to turn those on and off independently to the strip, which is more like the sort of mood lighting idea there. And this has required an awful lot of flapping about, because the cupboard goes past the point of the door, as you can see. I've seen that on lots of coach-built camper vans, and I've always liked the idea of that. And I thought, yeah, I'll have a go at that. I could do that. Well, it's far more complicated than first meets the eye. But anyway, we've had a go, and we've kind of prevailed. So on the inside here, you can see there is an extra piece of wood in there, which pretty well covers the hole. There's a little bit of a gap in here, but I haven't put the end piece of the Dometic fly screen in yet, which slides up through there in actual fact. So that's why that gap is there. And if I come around from the outside, it looks like that. So if we come up and have a closer look here, what I've done is I've angled that to follow the shape of the van. I've got some knock-in trim on the bottom, knock-in trim on the side, and the knock-in trim coming round here. And if I come up to the side here, we can see that just follows the line of the fly screen. So when I pull the fly screen along, that just misses the end there, look. That's the idea anyway. First time I've had an attempt at that, so you know, not perfect by any means, but it's all right for a first attempt. Need to get a bit of nail polish remover on my pen marks there. Stupidly marked the wrong side of the board there, but hey, not to worry, that's all right. And also top tip for people when you're doing this type of detail work is you can see a little gap in there. Look, yeah, guess who used a jigsaw to cut this line rather than something that cuts a bit straighter. Went a bit wibbly wobbly there, and just got a little bloody gap there which I can't really do anything with. So I need to think of something to put there to cover that. And so there we are. Right, let me get these doors fitted and show you what the end result actually looks like. So the doors I've gone for are basically exactly the same as the ones over here, the IKEA doors. There's one of them down there, the other one's in the house. And so the reason for this bar here is to hold the brackets for those doors, because remember, in my camper van I'm building the cabinet to fit the doors as opposed to the doors to fit the cabinet, because I'm using IKEA gloss white kitchen doors, which is actually working out all right. That's one of them there, which has been is like a donor piece, so that's been chopped to fill in the gap to accommodate those. And the other side of that is the one on the end over there, filling in the hole. And then what I've done with the top, because the doors only come to here, is I've put this extra little piece in, and I've just iron-on edged that one. So that's on some little sort of recessed hinges there. And I've put a door catch on it, so that will come down and clip into place and kind of runs flush with the IKEA door along there. And then up in there is my electrical fuse board, tucked up in the top there out of the way. Right, let's get these doors on and show you what the sort of end result looks like. Right, there we go. So now they're on. I think that looks all right, actually. That's no problem at all. It's a little bit lower down than the one that side, because of course this is designed to go above the kitchen and have an appropriate size gap here. So these will open, and again, these catch on this aluminium frame which come from Moreland on there. So they're just using the IKEA kitchen hinges at the top here, and I still need to put the gas strut on to hold them up here, which will screw into here and then up to there, but I haven't done that bit yet. But that comes around and closes, and that side like so. And then we got the extra little cubby hole at the top, which we can use for some storage in there, and also holds the electrical board. And again, from underneath we've got our two kitchen lights and the mood lighting strip along the back. Right, there we go. That is the cupboard done there. So the next one to do, which will be in the next video now, is the little one to fill in that space up there. And this is where all the water meters and Truma controller and all that jazz is going to be along here, which is what all this cabling is for. And yeah, that's all right, isn't it? Excellent. Right, so before I say thanks very much, please subscribe and blah 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 and all that jazz, let's fess up to the cock-ups on this. You know, I don't mind you know, going through those sort of details rather than just glossing over all that and saying, "Way, look at me, aren't I great? Didn't I do a fantastic job?" First of all was what I touched on earlier. I'm really cross about that little gap in there. So top tip is, you know, when you've got millimeter tolerances to play with, don't get the jigsaw out, use something that's going to actually cut a straight line. So that was a nuisance. And number two really is this electrical board. It's actually worked out all right that it happens to be in the cupboard, which is accessible from the top. But the idea of that was I wanted that kind of in here, kind of pulled forward just inside the door on a little plate, you know, neat and tidy with all the wires behind. But what I did was I actually did that first before fitting the cupboard, and screwed that back against the wall. not realizing that actually was a really stupid thing to do, because then of course I couldn't bring it forward because all the wires were too short. So top tip on that is, if you're going to put your electrical box inside a cupboard, is leave all the wires well alone and nice and long, build the cupboard, and then sort out exactly where you want it and mount it, and then do all the wiring afterwards. Don't do the wiring first like I've just done, because that was really stupid. And also cutting the back of this in around the Solway panels and all these shapes and things, you know, and the shape of the side here coming up round like this, that's all been a real faff, that is. So I'm starting to appreciate a bit more now why people clad the side of their vans, because of course they've got a nice straight side. So doing these cupboards when you've got a nice straight side is a doddle compared to the fight I've had with this one. But anyway, it's in and it's done, and I don't think that looks too bad. And one top tip I would have, I think, for people that are building their own camper vans is this, and I've actually learned this the hard way myself. Let me come outside and I will demonstrate to you. Here I have my rail for the plunge saw, my new toy for cutting straight lines, because this is made of aluminium. You know, it's made to very tight tolerances, so the measurement is bang on. And the top tip I've got is regarding tape measures. I've got two tape measures, both of them Stanley, as you can see. One is an 8-meter tape measure and one is a 10-meter tape measure. And what I've been tending to do is have one out here on the table and one inside in the van, you know, to take a measurement, come out and do what you got to do. It saves keep taking the tape measure in and out and keep forgetting it, and it's in the wrong place all the time, because we've all done that, and we got the t-shirt and the video for that one. But what I discovered was this. If I just grab the 10-meter one and hook it over the end there and come along, the measurement there is bang on 140, which is what it should be. The other tape measure, the 8-meter one, if I do this one, we come over here in the same place, come down, and I've got 142. That's 2 millimeters difference. Now when you're you know, building things that you want perfectly square, because let's bear in mind, you know, when you've got the edge of this door here, 2 millimeter gap from top to bottom, which funnily enough is pretty well what I've got, makes it look like a pig's ear. You know, to the untrained, well, no, to the trained eye, the untrained eye wouldn't even notice that, but I noticed that. And the reason for that is, guess what? Those damn tape measures. I was using one on the inside, one on the outside, and ended up 2 mil out at the top and never even noticed it. So there you go. Top tip: when building a camper van, stick to one tape measure and one tape measure only, and take all your measurements off of there, and don't have multiple tape measures, just in case they do vary, or at the very least check them first to make sure they are all calibrated to exactly the same. There we go. Top tip of the day. Hi and welcome to the next episode in my Citroen Relay van build series. In this video I'm doing the last of the overhead cupboards, which is the one above the door. So I've done the one above the kitchen, which is this one up here, and we've done the ones over the other side above the seat. So what I've got left to do is this little space in here. So being my third one now, I've kind of got my process of how I'm doing it. I don't know whether this is right or wrong, or whether people have different, I mean, people obviously have different methods, but this is what I've chosen to do and the way I'm doing it. So I did the others exactly the same way. This is nice and easy to demonstrate because it's nice and small, this one. But basically I've cut and prepared the two end panels. There's one there and one over this side, and I've braced those at the top with a piece of timber, and the piece of timber is just temporarily screwed into the beam at the back there to hold it in place. So the thing is just sat there minding its own business. And then what I've done is I've prepared my bottom piece here, and I've done the shaping of the corner for this little bit here, but that's actually all I had to do. It was quite straightforward. So then what we do is we offer that into position and make sure we're good. And of course the length of this is exactly the same as the length of the top piece, so it should all be nice and square, all being well. So then we can check that we're happy, and that's all fine. And then the very last part of this is I've also cut to length my aluminium profile for the bottom here. So what I'm going to do in order to mark this is just attach those two together. Obviously not screwed yet, it doesn't matter just yet, but get them fixed together, get it into place. And then I can see what I've actually got. Okay, so I can see now straight away that because of the size of the aluminium profile, we're sticking out the corner here, which means my piece of wood is too long still. So the idea is sound, but the next thing to do is I want this set back probably, I would say, a good let me see, the front here a good centimetre back at least. So I want to take a centimetre off of this board, and then we'll fit that in and give that another try. So let me do that now. Okay, centimetre and a smidge off. Let's give it another try. Okay, that's better. Right, so oh, can you just grab my marker pen from outside? Sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is this end panel, because there's a little bit of play in the bottom here, I'm just lining that up literally just with my eye, so it's running flush with the side of that one. You know, no one's going to come in your van with a tape measure, are they, and suss these things out. And same the other side, just get that until it's pretty well in line. That looks okay. Just checking and double checking all this because I need my mark to be pretty accurate. Okay, all right. So then all I'm doing now is I'm putting a couple of little pen marks in to show me where this is going to be fixed when I get it back on the bench. So one in there, line in there, because of course these lines you won't see because the doors and stuff will be in the way. One under there. Okay, so that should be all right. It's only going to be a little thin cupboard this, but you know, you always need somewhere to keep your celery, don't you? So it's going to be a nice little celery cupboard really, this one up here. Right, okay, so happy with that. So now the thing to do is to take it all out and then assemble it down on the bench where it's much easier to do than up here.
3 hours later.
Okay, so I've now got everything assembled and pretty well into place. So another one of my lovely IKEA gloss white doors, and let's just open that one up. So we added, just show you what I've done. We've added a piece of furniture board up here that the brackets are affixed to. I had to dig a little bit out of the back panel there because the brackets were quite long. I didn't take that into account when I measured and decided on the depth of the cupboard. If I knew that was going to be a problem, I'd have made it a fraction deeper. But hey, you know, never mind. It's all right. It's in behind the cupboard. So that's all in and good, and closes round. And because I had to put that piece of furniture board in here to fix the brackets to, I then couldn't fix this piece from behind. So what I've had to do with this one is that was a little trim piece that I put in afterwards. So the wooden beam that you saw earlier in the video is behind there, which is screwed in sort of multiple points, which is holding the cupboard up. And then I simply made this little trim piece with some T-trim on, which has gone over the top of that, and I've had to just tack that with a couple of screws in each corner just to hold it. And then when I go to a DIY store bigger than my local one that will have some little black screw caps as opposed to white ones, we'll just offer those back out and put some black screw caps on there, and that will be a-okay. Right, so cupboard bit is working fine. I haven't put the gas strut on yet to hold it up, so it's flapping in the wind a bit at the moment, but it's there. Just like the other cupboards, I've put in a little support piece there, T-trimmed on the front, to A, you know, keep everything together, and B, also of course it'll act as a mounting point for my gas strut. And oh, you see some controls as well, look at that. Right, so on the other end of this cupboard, which is what all those wires were earlier, I've mounted my my controls. So what I have here is another piece of IKEA kitchen door, which was basically one of those, which I've chopped to size, and that's basically sort of fixed in position. And then in here, just getting in a bit closer, we have the Renogy battery monitor. I have the Renogy MPPT charge controller sort of display panel, so you can see what's going on with that. My Truma boiler control, and up above my water level gauges. So what I've got here, I've gone for the sort of old-fashioned dial ones because I quite like the look of those. So I've gone for the white one for the freshwater tank, the black one for the grey water tank, and my gas level meter is up above. And what I've done in behind is I've wired all of those together to this momentary push switch. So if I push this switch in, by the way, the tanks are empty at the moment, so although these will light up, the gauge won't actually move. But I have put some water yesterday in the freshwater tank to test that, and that gauge did go up, although I have since emptied the tank back out again. So if I push the momentary switch, that all lights up. The gas meter shows empty because there's no gas, and I've got back illumination, as you can see on the other two, and a little flashing warning light telling me that the tank is empty, which is quite nice. And then when I let go of the switch, it cuts the power to all three again, and they go off. So what I've done, I've not put a latching switch in because I don't want to accidentally leave all that switched on. It's just a momentary push switch. You push and hold, everything powers up so you can see what you're doing, and then let go and it all goes dead again. So that's how I've done that. Let me know in the comments below whether you think that's okay as a control panel or not, but I was quite happy with that, actually, I have to say. So that's the kind of main controls, and then on the other side of the kitchen cupboard here, I've got my control for the inverter here next to a power socket there. I had to put that a bit further back because the cable that comes with that wasn't particularly long, which was a bit of a nuisance, but still, never mind. You know, these things are not the end of the world, are they? So there we are. That is the final cupboard on the sort of high level done, and all the controls are nicely above the door there. Oh, incidentally, one interesting top tip. If you're installing, and I looked in the instructions for the Truma boiler, and the information on this was sketchy at best, and I happened to stumble across a video of someone replacing a panel that had failed, and it answered the question for me. There's a little sort of bracket in behind here that this fits to, and when I made the hole for it to fit through, screwed the bracket on, and then attached the Truma panel, it was all flappy at the bottom. It was wobbling and flappy, and I thought, what the hell's going on? And I just couldn't get that to clip in. And I thought, well, I'm doing something really stupid here. And yeah, actually I was doing something stupid, because in the pink bubble wrap bag that this thing comes in the bottom of that bag, which when you pull this control panel and the rear bracket out, you never see because it's so tiddly. If I just pull this off, this control knob, in behind there, look, there's a tiny little screw, and that screw comes separately in the pink bubble wrap bag, and that fixes the front fascia to the rear sort of bracket that you screw onto the van, and that's what holds it and stops it flapping about. But it doesn't mention that at all in the instructions, or not I could find anyway. So thanks to the guy, I can't remember what channel it was now, that was replacing his control panel, because I saw him take that screw out, and I thought, perhaps that's where we're going wrong. And yeah, that tiddly little screw was in the bottom of that bubble wrap bag, and I didn't even notice it when I unpacked it all. So there you go, top tip. If you're struggling and thinking, am I being stupid? Look for that screw. Right, there you go. That's the cupboard's finished. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, blah, 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 blah. And I'll see you next time round. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.